Still all right with AVNation at ISE 2022 in Barcelona with Andrew Starks from Ames. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you very much.
Apparently that you've already had one of these interviews this week with us, so
I can't get enough.
which is why they had to switch us out.
That's
right?
right.
It's a different
I
character.
wore the other dude out. So.
Well, it's a different NFC, right? It's a NPC, non-player character.
Oh man, now I'm old.
Well, yeah, so am I. So Ames has been doing something for a couple of years, which is kind of interesting. The group has been developing an open standard, open AV over IP standard. Mm-hmm. Talk for a second about where that is as far as the ratification and the standard and everything.
Right on. I mean, I tell you, 2 years ago, we thought, I don't know what we thought we would be at this point, but I'll tell you, it felt a lot like swimming upstream a little bit. Mm-hmm. The AV industry is kind of, if you think about it in a larger context, it's actually a lot bigger than the broadcast world, but it is still kind of, it's not really as fully integrated into that open standards kind of mindset as, say, like the IT world,
Mm-hmm.
And
you realize you just said a mouthful right
yeah,
there.
I know, and we
that's
still get a little bit of pushback
part,
on it even, right? Yeah. But I think what has really changed is that customers are being a lot more vocal about it.
Yep.
There's a lot of organizations like HEPNA, for example, and others that we talk to, and they're looking at it and they're saying, we want that. That we had an integrator that we were speaking with. He's working with a multinational company, and they asked him, how do we, we've got this system here, we've got this system here, we're adding this one here. We're working multinationally. How can we manage these systems? How can we put them under one thing so our help desk has some sanity? And the answer was, you can't. And that's the we need to move the industry beyond innovation of plumbing and into more creative applications and solving problems. And that's really what Ames is about. And what's interesting too, that's really resonated with people, is that at first they were saying, we don't want broadcasters coming in here and telling us how to do what we're doing. And we tried doing that actually, and it didn't work. We didn't have everything that the Pro AV industry needed. Mm-hmm. So we went back and found the gaps and have gone to work and have addressed those gaps. And to answer your question, we're now to the point where we're in that ratification stage. So we've got the drafts done, we've got HDCP support, we've got EDID support. We have workflows where PTP is not required, where you have asynchronous sources. We make it very easy to install. All of the things that we were hearing that were needed are now part of the IPMX group of I'll call it emerging standards.
Okay.
And since we've been doing that, we've really seen that kind of hockey stick moment where we get 1 or 2 members to join every now and again, and then just in the last, I'll say 4 to 6 months, we've seen not just with Ames, but the other organizations, VSF, AMWA, that are all part of making the standards. Some of these have joined Ames, some of these have joined others, but we've seen Netgear, Intel, Panduit, Analog Way, and recently Barco has joined Ames as well. And every one of them is super excited about seeing open standards come to this industry.
So let's take a step back for a second. You guys aren't the only ones who've done this before, right? As far as open standards, right? Certainly there are manufacturer-specific ones, but we're talking about open ones.
Right.
What is the hope? What is the idea here that you guys are holding on to?
Why is it going to work this time?
I was trying not to say that, but yes, why is it going to work this time?
I'll say ABB and Milan are actually very successful in the pro audio market.
I know a PR person who will love you for saying that, by the way.
Well, we have nothing. I mean, they're an excellent protocol and standard where when you need that guaranteed delivery, when you're doing staging and things like that. So I would say that they've had some success. I think with IPMX, our focus is really on that plug-and-play experience, with the HDMI experience, right? Okay. It works as I expect. It's not super hard to install, yet because it's based on the SMPTE 2110 standards, the dials are there to turn it up to 11 when you need to do synchronous sources, when you need to have that alignment for large video walls. And what's happened is people have realized, these large LED manufacturers are using SMPTE 2110. They need that low latency when you've got IMAG, when you've got someone on that stage. So they know the benefits of SMPTE 2110, and they know why it was made the way it was made. Yeah. And to do something at the scale that SMPTE 2110 achieves, you really actually have to make things simple. It doesn't mean it's easy to install. It doesn't mean you don't need switches that can handle PTP. But bringing IPMX in and using SMPTE 2110 and giving people the ability to turn those dials to where they need to just makes that technology a lot more accessible. And our focus and the reason why we think we'll be successful in the Pro AV market is honestly because we listened to the Pro AV market's needs and picked the right technologies and made the decisions to meet those needs.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Great. All right, you guys are coming back to Infocom.
That's right.
You're doing showing off some interoperability.
Yes,
which for an open standard is absolutely crucial.
It is. It is. In fact, it's half of it was to show the market where we're at. The other half was to get engineers scared enough to really get this thing going, right? But we're excited. We have 12 vendors that are going to be there. Netgear is going to be there. Arista is going to be there. Cisco is going to be there. So we've got a good complement of switches there. Ross and of course Matnica, the company I work for, Matrox will be there showing it. And the Intel will be there as well. And I'm missing some others, Nextera. I mentioned all 12 now that I mentioned some of them. I'm going to get in trouble, Intitix. But we'll have a lot of people showing technology there, interoperating. What we're showing is IPMX and SMPTE 2110 working together, going from a very strict PTP source-aligned network into an asynchronous network. That's IPMX with compressed workflows, uncompressed workflows, all working together to kind of show, and honestly just show people a demonstration of what's happening in every customer's facility. That's the funny thing, is that when we think of Pro AV, we think of presentation, but there's an awful lot of live production happening in the Pro AV space. And so being able to show how one system can handle both of those important workflows, I think is going to be really compelling.
All right, Andrew, if somebody wants to find out more.
AIMSalliance.org. We'd love to have more members, more input, more activity, more excitement, but please visit us. We have lots of educational material and lots of information on IPMX. AIMSalliance.org.
All right, Andrew Starks from AIMS. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. Follow along as we bring you more videos from the show floor of ISE 2022. All that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.